How does analogical language reconcile faith and science? Imagine trying to explain a rainbow to someone who has never seen one. You might say it's like a bridge of colors in the sky, connecting the earth and the heavens. That's the power of analogical language. It helps us talk about divine or spiritual ideas in ways that relate to what we already know. Instead of saying God is exactly like a human or a natural phenomenon, we use familiar qualities to describe something beyond full human understanding. For example, when religious texts say God is love, it doesn't mean God's love is exactly like human love. It means there's a similar, but greater, kind of love that points to divine goodness. This way, we keep the mystery of the divine intact while still finding words that make sense to us. In the world of science, we learn about natural laws and physical processes. But science doesn't try to explain spiritual truths or divine realities directly. That's where analogical language becomes useful. It creates a bridge, allowing faith and science to speak to each other without conflict. Science describes what happens in the natural world, while religious language, through analogy, describes what's happening beyond it. Both are talking about different parts of reality, but they can connect through shared images and qualities. This approach respects the limits of human language and understanding, so faith isn't forced into scientific terms or dismissed because it doesn't fit. Now, when we look at queer theology, things get even more interesting. Queer communities often challenge strict categories and binaries, including those in religious and scientific ideas. Analogical language supports this by emphasizing relationships and likenesses rather than rigid definitions. It opens space for diverse experiences of gender, sexuality, and spirituality to be seen as reflections of divine creativity. For example, a person might see their fluid gender identity as a beautiful expression of divine diversity. They're not trying to fit into a narrow box but are using analogy to see their experience as a meaningful part of the divine picture. Practically speaking, queer spiritual communities can use analogical language to talk about their identities and spiritual experiences without needing exact scientific or doctrinal labels. It allows for a flexible, inclusive way to understand how different identities reflected divine love and creativity. This approach affirms that spiritual truth isn't limited to fixed categories but can be expressed through the richness of human diversity. In essence, analogical language helps us speak about the divine in ways that respect both the mystery of faith and the discoveries of science. It creates a space where spiritual and scientific conversations can happen side by side. For LGBTQ+ people and their spiritual journeys, it offers a way to see their identities as part of divine expression, not separate from it. This way, faith and science, and all the varied human experiences in between, can meet in a shared language of connection and meaning.